Boom! What's up, folks? Blaze Thompson back once again with Food Chart Fridays live. Welcome. I'm excited to be here. Got a great topic for today, cutting through the bullshit with the fitness industry, laying it on the line with what I believe and teach, and getting some of this crap that's out there out of the way. We always start this off every week by going through food charts of actual clientele on the ground. I got 4 charts here today. I want to go through specifics for each one, things that I want to discuss. From there, I want to remind you and invite you to comment, to bring your own food charts to the table. I'll be happy to grade food charts here for you live online. The truth will set you free and help you move in the right direction. And when we started this quest in January this year, we had 30, 40 charts on the table at once. We're down to 4 today, and I've gotten some online and things like that. But the truth is, not everybody sticks with this thing. It's kind of like sales. You talk to 100 people, you really only get 10 of them to do it. And in the fitness industry, it's generally like out of 100 people who start working out, only 30% of those people are actually left by now, 90 days later, since we're in that 3rd month of the year. And of those ones that are still here, the ones that actually follow the directions is really only about 10 of them. So you can keep spinning your wheels as long as you want, or you can write down some damn food and get some good results. And that's what this thing is about. I am not a nutritionist. I like to share my experience using the common sense approach to nutrition, taking what I have done throughout my entire life growing up as a child of fitness, and also what I've done for the past 17 years with clients on the ground, and share it with you on Fridays here on Food Chart Fridays Live. So we're going to jump into it today. First chart that we're going to look at is going to be a young lady named Sophia. This is a girl that's actually in middle school, 7th grader. Hey, we got comments. What's up, Jennings? Good to see you. With that, first person here, we talked about this girl a couple of weeks ago, and it was terrible food, and her mom was preparing for her, and I broke down the family system that cultures that type of terrible food and doesn't take accountability for it. And I had a tough talk with her, and her mom are now doing cardio together, which is beautiful. We've actually gotten her mom moving. She won't do it while I'm watching. She'll still stop. She's like too embarrassed, but I snuck and saw her on the treadmill, and I had a little moment with that. And their food has gotten exponentially better. She's doing eggs with one piece of whole wheat toast. She's got fruit at breakfast. She's doing Greek yogurt as snacks. Their dinners are balanced now, not as much junk in their diet. And we're looking at a little protein in the afternoon, and visibly her body has changed. You know, with young kids, especially with young girls, I generally do not check their body fat percentage. I do more of a qualitative approach where I look at them, weekly, and you can see the changes that take place in their body. I'm not here to wreck people's minds, and I am about healthy body fat percentage, which for women is 20 to 23%. And with kids, you can jack them up. So what we want to do is culture the belief systems that when I take care of myself, I feel well from the inside out. And that is exactly what's going on right here with this chart. It's fantastic. So I'm very proud of her. I just wanted to give a shout out to young Sophia. Next chart I'm going to talk about is Dave Long. That's right. Thank you again, Jennings. I'm happy to help you too. So send me some food sometimes and I'll hook you up, and I appreciate it. Very grateful to get to do this on Fridays. Dave is a cancer survivor. We've talked about him for a couple of weeks as well, and how in the beginning of his fitness journey, getting back into fitness after losing 30 pounds and then suffering, going through treatment for cancer, coming back, having gained a bunch of weight back. He jumped into fitness, wasn't willing to hit his food, and originally started to put his food and told the truth. And I say it all the time, if you tell the truth, one of two things happen. You either start to change because you see it, or you get so miserable you quit and then you come back once you have the willingness. So this man has shown up now consistently for the past month writing down his food. He lost weight last month up to, I think he lost 8 pounds last month. He still lost again this week, another 2 pounds this week. He's still got some choices we need to work on here as far as getting some of the junk out of his diet, but he's writing down the truth. He's getting in his protein-based snacks in the form of his muscle milks. He is making sure to get protein at every meal. He's got more green vegetables. I see broccoli on the sheet. He's doing strawberries once in a while at breakfast. We just need to cut back some of the junk. He does have some ice cream. I see a tater tots on the sheet. But the honesty that he's displaying and the fact that he's using the synergy of exercise and food together are helping him move in the right direction. So we got another one here. This is Phil Simpson. This is Phil S. I shouldn't have said his last name. Phil has been working in the gym and struggling to work around his schedule like a lot of us do. And, here's what I had to talk with Phil today about. He's got to figure out who he is. Is he a breakfast man? Is he a dinner man? Is he a lunch man? And once you figure out which meal of the day you enjoy the most, then you plan around that one meal. You have got to follow directions. You cannot eat crap. I mean, here's some of the stuff that's on this guy's chart. And again, he wrote down the truth. It gives us an opportunity to help him. He's got eggs, sausage, cheese grits, and juice at breakfast. Juice, all right? Doing apple juice. Most of these juices have 130 to 160 calories and tons of sugar. It's better to eat the real fruit. Get an apple. It's got 60 calories. So that was one suggestion for him today. His lunches, tacos, wings, almond butter on just toast. He's got miscellaneous appetizers and chips. His dinners, sliders. He's got coconut chicken and rice, appetizers and bourbon. That was one of his dinners one night. Sushi and wings, crab dip. And this morning he's like, well, we had events, we had these things. So the theme across his sheet for this week, though, was generally junky food across the entire day. He got protein at most of his meals. He didn't get that many vegetables. So looking for the gold stars, he wrote down the truth. He got protein at each meal. He's willing to keep telling the truth. I told him he needs to pick one of three things to work on. Finding a consistent breakfast. Because it looks like his dinners are the worst of the worst. So if we can clean up the rest of the sheet, we can keep dinners grooving the way they do. That's how I eat. I eat spinach, boiled eggs, walnuts, and strawberries for breakfast. I generally eat a green vegetable and another protein for lunch. Usually today it was turkey burger with some spinach. At lunchtime, I did a piece of sourdough bread with chicken and a little bit of spinach again. My afternoon snack after my workout, I'll have a banana with some protein. And my dinner tonight, I will get down. I will make sure to have something that I really enjoy, but I put in those nutrients. I'll make sure to include vegetables, protein, a healthy carbohydrate, and then I'll probably have a little nasty snack after it. I might get a cosmic brownie. I'm dirty. I'm still 14 on the inside. But I tell the truth. And that's what Phil's going to work on for me. He's going to work on getting a consistent protein-based snack, fixing that breakfast, and committing to figuring out who he is. So I've given him the quest of figuring out one of those three. We're actually going to discuss it again a little later today. So the next person I want to talk about, and this will be the last chart for the day, is a lady named Diane. And Diane has really been working consistently, and I spoke about her last week as well, because the deal is most of the people who turn in their charts consistently are the ones who consistently lose weight, and the ones who don't turn in the chart, we're not talking about it this week because they weren't even willing to get on the scale. So with that, for Diane, we've seen her consistently put in protein. She had a little protein bar issue she was doing too many. She's worked on that. She brings her Greek yogurt to the gym. A day earlier this week, she handed me her baggie to show off her Greek yogurt. I dropped it, broke the baggie of Greek yogurt. I felt terrible, not to mention, I had some people watch me drop the crap out of my hand and started laughing at me. It was a double whammy. I'm like, dang, humiliated, crushing this healthy snack for this lady. So I got her a little substitute. But long story short, she's doing the work. She came in today and she was actually up about 0.4 of a pound. And she was a little upset with herself. And so this is what we're working on with Diane's chart. Are there things that she could do a little bit better? Yes. But in general, her food has been very consistent. And so what we have to do is realize, realistically, you do not have to... You can't realistically sit on one particular weight. You have to have a range or a pound ratio. And for women, we usually say it's about an 8-pound window. For men, around the same thing. That's within that healthy body fat percentage. For Diane, her ideal weight probably about 134. But I would never say it's going to be 133 to 134 every time you step on the scale. You drink a 16-ounce water, you gained a pound. You didn't take a crap. You might lose a pound or two from that. So you got to give yourself a window. We gained 0.4 of a pound on somebody that's super consistent. Maybe she drank some water. Give yourself a break. You're writing down the truth. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to. Remember, it's a window. And there is a scale of miserable that comes with that window. If you've got a trip coming up, you've got a vacation coming up, then we can pick some specific things to do to get you to the lower end of that 8 pounds. But it's going to be a sacrifice. You're going to have to eat a little cleaner. Like she'd have to take this wine off. She drinks a glass of wine every single night. Boom, that's her miss. But she's a dinner lady, okay? Her breakfasts are always eggs, spinach, and berries. She had 2 breakfasts that were off of that over the majority of the week. She generally does that yogurt and walnut snack. She's avoiding these carbohydrates for the majority of the day and saves them for dinner. but she adds the healthy fats in to make up for it across the day. So my point for her was, don't beat the crap out of yourself when you're following the directions. Be human. Give yourself this healthy window to live in, generally 5 to 8 pounds based on what we eat, what we excrete, and then you can live balanced. And that's what this whole thing is about. And that leads us to our topic of the day. Pegram, send me your email and I will hook you up and send you a chart. And then we'll go live next Friday. So, and I'm pumped to get somebody requesting a food chart. It's time to rock and roll. I want to help the people. Okay? So, grateful. Here we go. This week, what I want to discuss was the bullshit that the fitness industry tries to throw at us all the time. Number one, instant gratification is what got you into this mess in the first place. Eating that extra meal, having that extra drink, slacking off from your workout because you wanted to sleep in this day. Healthy fats, real quick answer to that question I just got in. Walnuts, coconut oil, pumpkin seeds, avocado. You can look up, you can even Google what are healthy fats, but those are going to be my top 4, and walnut is the best nut out there out of the ones that we would choose, and that's not salted walnuts in some bag. That for me means plain walnuts. I buy them at Costco in a big bag. The serving size for healthy fats is about a thumb for women, 2 thumbs for men, all right? So that's a quarter of an avocado, or for men, a half an avocado. Just remember, when it comes to nuts, they add up quickly. So that's going to be about 10 a handful, 10 nuts for women, 20 nuts for men. And you get that serving in. It does not substitute for protein. You use your healthy fat choice as a snack that goes with your protein and vegetable. So a healthy snack for me today, piece of chicken, I do 4 ounces, or a piece of turkey with spinach, and then I have those 10 walnuts with it to have that healthy fat. I use those healthy fats because they help me with recovery of my cellular structure. I also use those healthy fats to maintain my caloric totals in my diet and to help my body utilize fat as an energy system over carbohydrates. So I hope that helped answer your question there. And you can look more of those up. I'll be happy to send you some if you send me your email. So with that, instant gratification is what got us into this mess. You know, sleeping in today, today I won't do it, slacking off on your workout, drinking that soda that gives you that sugar rush. And that's what pretty much the fitness industry, this $300 billion machine, tries to teach people to get them to lose weight. I mean, let's look at all the bullshit that comes out as far as, Thigh Blaster 5,000 in as little as 2 minutes a day. Or, the other side of the coin, with food, these diets that teach drastic measures to get you where you need to be. In reality, we are what we consistently do. And you've got to figure out things that you can sustain over the long run that incrementally get you where you need to go. And anybody who tells you anything else otherwise is bullshit and full of it. And you won't succeed. That's just what I have seen with my experience over the past 17 years as a business doing this. It was what I was taught by trainers way better than me, including my mother, who I grew up eating baked fish and rice. It sucked, but it created the value system over time. And you know what? My brother, who I love dear, this motherfucker never worked out. And he's 36 years old. No, shit, I'm 39. He's 37 years old now. And 2 years ago, you know what he started doing? Working out, right? And lifting weights. And now he sends me podcasts of guys, because he's got that endorphin rush going. But what's really, really cool is he's taking care of himself now. You know what I mean? And I honestly believe that has something to do with the roots of what he learned. But, we all cope with things a little differently. So he was like, I'll never do it for a long time. And now he has learned the balance of it. And it's really beautiful to see, my own brother find balance in his life. Because, exercise is medicine. It helps release endorphins. It's a healthy outlet for our stress. And it creates balance in our life. But the instant gratification that the fitness industry tries to teach us of do this 4-week workout and lose 30 pounds, things like The Biggest Loser, the majority of the people on those shows gain all that weight back. It's something ridiculous, like 70% of the people that have been on that show have been just as big as they were or bigger now, no less than a year later after the ending of the tape. So, realistically, we are what we consistently do. You've got to find a strategy that's not built on some instant gratification bullshit. 2 pounds a week is the max amount of weight that you can lose and maintain that weight loss without losing muscle. 1 pound a week is really the average for most people. 0.25% is average body fat loss over a week. 0.5 is awesome. And if you're following the directions, you will consistently get that body fat loss. And body fat loss is linear. All right, that's the one that I want to really stick out there. Weight loss, the scale is going to do this a little bit, but in general, your body fat loss will always go down consistently if you're following directions. What are the directions that we teach? We teach the 1, 2, 3. 1 day a week to plan and execute your nutrition because it's the most important. So it's number one for a reason. If you are eating too much, you're going to be spinning your wheels as far as weight loss. And I say weight loss, I really mean body fat percentage. Healthy body fat percentage helps you in all the other categories of health. If your body fat percentage is where it's supposed to be, your blood pressure is going to get better, your heart rate, resting heart rate is going to get better. All of those things are going to come down because it's going to be easier for your body to do its job. So, and then number 3, 3 days a week of cardio is the minimum. So I teach go hard or go home. It's bullshit. That's bullshit number 2. Go hard or go home. Complete fucking nonsense. There is so much stuff in the fitness industry right now that's counting and measuring and go hard and screaming at each other. I mean, watch CrossFit on TV. Most people who join a CrossFit get hurt in the first couple of weeks. And I got nothing against CrossFit in general. We've had more people pick up barbells as a result of CrossFit and the popularity of it than we've had pick up barbells in the history of the United States. My problem with it is you've got to start where you're at as a beginner. And if you can't do a squat properly, then you don't need to throw load on top of it, right? And I'm not saying that every gym does that, but lots of those places do. And so you have to start where you're at. And realistically, what I teach is you must build a base first. And secondly, if all you're doing is hard exercise, that go hard or go home, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to properly recover from exercise. You're stressing your nervous system every time you train hard. You have to have lower intensity days for your body to recover and for your nervous system to recover. What I teach is, and it's the truth, it sounds like a bad fucking car commercial, but it's the truth. If you do the minimum consistently, over time, you will get maximum results. One of the best coaches I know, Joe Ken, He's the head strength coach for the Carolina Panthers, has come up with a training system for himself he calls the Tortoise, right? Because the Tortoise run the race every single time, all right? And he is now, once again, deadlifting numbers that he hasn't deadlifted in years, picking up more weight because he is being consistent over time. And what I try to do is learn from the best and learn from my own mistakes. And every time I've tried to go hard and not listen to my body, I've gotten hurt. And so I've had to find balance, and it's what I teach my clients. 1 day a week to plan your food. Buy what you need, prep it for the week. 2 days of strength training as a minimum to get results. You do not have to become a bodybuilder. And you start that strength training where you're at. If you don't know how to move, we teach you how to move properly. And then from there, we gradually make it harder over time. And then 3 days a week of cardio. If you haven't done at least 20 minutes cardio for the past 3 weeks in a row, 3 days a week, then you're a beginner. And you need to start with low zone easy cardio to build a stronger heart muscle. So your stroke volume of your heart goes up. That means less beats in a minute to do the same amount of work. Okay? You build that aerobic base first, then you start to build your moderate intensity cardio, then you start doing intervals about a month in. Can you start with intervals right off the bat? Yes, you can. Do I think that that's stupid? Yes, I do. Why? Because you're going to jack yourself the fuck up. You're not in shape. You're going hard every single time. Could be you get tired. You freaking twist your knee the wrong way. Could be you overuse because you're not fit enough to sustain that level of intensity at that capacity right off the bat. Start where you're at. Be the tortoise. Be consistent over time, and you will win the race. And the synergy of those three, being honest about your food, doing the minimum strength training consistently 2 days a week, building it up over time, doing the 3 basic days of cardio, as little as 20 minutes. You got to get at least 20 minutes. You put those 3 together, I guarantee you'll get to a healthy body fat percentage every time. And if you don't, it's because one of those 3 is off. But if you put them together, they work every single time. And so then you got to look at it honestly. Well, did I get my cardio every day this week? Did I strength train 2 days the way I was supposed to? Did my body fat percentage change this month? If it didn't, guess what? It's your food. Oh, and that's why we're having Food Chart Fridays live. I went off on that one. I got way more info to get through. I got to chill and get focused. All right, so the next one is going to be the amount of protein. The fitness industry teaches us protein, because they want to sell supplements and bullshit. Do you want to know the number one supplement that you can buy? The number one supplement that you can buy is real food. All right, that's the main thing you need to eat is real food. And the daily recommended minimums of protein in a day is 60 grams for women. It's 90 grams for men. So that's about 10 grams of protein per meal for women as a minimum and 15 grams of protein per man. per meal. And we like to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner and schedule small snacks in between. So we spread it out across your day. Your metabolism's running all day long. I tell people to start there. And then let's see what's going on from there. Because most folks who come in and start exercise after sitting on their ass or gaining a bunch of weight, they're eating so wacky. You don't need to try to do extreme things to get to where you need to be. What you need to do is build a foundation. And we do that with daily recommendations and creating some consistency. And so that's why writing it down and getting the minimum as a place to start is an easy thing. So that leads me to the next one. And the trend in the fitness industry right now to use data like crazy to try to get, we've got different styles of fitness now where it's count every single number and count every single macro. And here's what my experience has been with that. It leads to burnout. It leads to over freaking analyzing everything you're doing. And from there, you're turning into a numbers nut instead of just enjoying your life and learning how to find some true balance. So I say that with the little caveat of some people are numbers people. And so it's okay. But if you try to force those numbers on somebody that is not of their nature, then I found it does not lead to success. And the other piece of that is when it comes to your fitness routine, if you're always counting your numbers, if you're always competing, you're going to get hurt. You've got to learn how to slow down and, once again, let the gas off. It's not necessarily a competition. And we hear the person you're really competing with the most is yourself. And that's true. And I have found for me, it's not so much that I'm competing with myself. Like the real competition for me is, am I willing to listen to myself enough to know it's okay to go a little easier today than hard? I try to be, just as much as I like to plan my year for fitness, I try to lift instinctually as well and listen to my body. Because I've learned over time that if I don't, eventually something's going to pop. I try to schedule a deload, an easier week, once every 4 weeks. I try to make sure that I'm maintaining my connective tissue with recovery days and create that balance. But if I'm just trying to beat some number in some workout every single time, then I'm going to end up getting myself hurt because I'm becoming numb to the realities and I'm just using the numbers, and that doesn't create balance. And that leads me to the last one for today, which is going to be, everybody doesn't fit in the same box. And that's what I find with a lot of the fitness trends that come out right now. It's, insanity has you jumping all the damn time, or P90X is muscle confusion, and you're doing these workouts. And what we need to find for the individual in the beginning of the work that they do moving forward in their fitness quest is, where are you? Who are you? That's what this journey is. Because you're not going to continue with something you absolutely hate. You've got to try to find what connects with you, right? So just like we talked about with Phil today in his food, is he a breakfast, lunch, or dinner man? I want you to enjoy your food. It shouldn't feel like you're being deprived. But you got to figure out who you are and be realistic. A lot of times when I get food trucks, I'll look at people and I'll say, on paper, what does it look like you eat like, right? And Phil, I love you, brother, but on your paper, it looks like you eat like a tired ass construction worker who's eating bar food every single day after work, and then wakes up and gets, whatever he can in on his way to the office. And in reality, we all have a lot of shit going on. We don't need to make love to these meals. I had another lady that, and I'm not trying to just beat him up because he's willing. I had another lady that I was looking at her food yesterday. She looked like a 16-year-old girl who just got her license. It was Chick-fil-A all over her damn food chart, right? And she's eating cereals in the morning like, I think it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm like, come on. I have another guy, a guy that I've trained for years that I love named Tom W. When we first started, he was an executive with a big company here in Greensboro. And I asked him, what do you eat? He said, generally, I don't eat breakfast. I have a steak and cheese for lunch. I might do a little steak and cheese for dinner, and I'm going to have, I have a Twinkies. And I was like, dude, you haven't got any vegetables. And he was staunch. I'm not going to eat vegetables. I'm like, man, you are 55 years old and you eat like a 12-year-old kid. What are you doing? Reality, you have to be able to stomach reality with yourself and look at the truth. Look at what you have come up with thus far and where it has gotten you, and are you going to be willing to do something different, right? Because this guy at that point was weighing, I don't remember how much he used to weigh. It might have been as high as 260 pounds, but maybe closer to 230. And we got him all the way down to like 198 at one point. and he's gone through shoulder replacement. He's getting ready to retire, right? And so now it's like, has this lifestyle set in to go forward? So Cinnamon Toast Crunch is awesome. I bet it is, Jay. We could talk about your food charts from back in the day as well. I love you, man. So with that, if I'm going to go hard on some cereal, for the record, just so you know, because I'm a real person, I love eating I don't make love to my spinach, eggs, and broccoli, but if I'm going to go hard, I'm going to get some Cocoa Pebbles. But I'm going to know that I just ate Cocoa Pebbles, and for the rest of the day, I got to do my thing. Or I'm going to go to this restaurant here in Greensboro called Herbie's, and I'm going to get pancakes with chocolate chips with my little girl. I do that every Sunday, all right? I'm human. I just try to plan ahead and do that one meal, and then make the rest of the day what it's supposed to be, realistically. Like, treat myself well, because that other bullshit is not treating me well, and then I end up feeling crummy anyway. How many of you have a full day of crap food? Like, Phil feels bad turning that food chart into me, right? I mean, it doesn't feel good to admit all this shit that you've been kind of denying of yourself. Out of 10 people I see, new clients that I see, if I ask, how do you eat? Out of those 10 people, 7 of them will tell me, oh, I eat pretty good. Of those people I ask, what'd you have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and did you have any snacks in between? Of those 7, then 5 of those people will have eaten terrible. So out of 10 people, only 2 actually eat good. 5 of them are full of shit and can't admit how bad they eat. And the other 3 can actually tell the truth. I mean, that's the real statistics that I have seen from evidence-based research here. You know, that self-deception is a motherfucker. And so that's why I invite you every week, reeling it in, here on Food Chart Friday, to write down the truth, to show me, because this is what happens when you write down the truth. You get to that 5-pound window of self-acceptance. You get to that healthy body fat percentage of 20 to 23%. And that's where that who you are piece, that last one, comes in. Who are you? Are you the type of person that needs accountability, right? If you've been watching this each week going, those are some good points, but not doing anything different, then yes, right now you are. And you might be somebody who needs accountability for a short period of time. Or you might need somebody who needs accountability for a long period of time. Let me tell you what, if I could do what I do for free, I would, because I love this. But the reason I got a job is because people need accountability. We are the fattest country in the world. It's ridiculous. And we're the richest country in the world. So, you know, those things don't go together. We should be treating ourselves well. We all have the means to do a little bit better. And so I invite you to do that with me 1 week at a time. Every Friday you can turn in food charts. I'll be happy to email information out to folks to help you get moving on the way. I'm very grateful to get to do this, for the viewership, for your questions. And I encourage you this week to give yourself a break. Write it down. Meet me next Friday. And let's start doing this thing. One meal, one rep, one moment at a time. Much love. Be well.